Let us master Microsoft Excel together. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to build this very beautiful dashboard right on your screen using this particular data right in here from these very questions you can see right now. I'm going to actually translate this question into something like this from this particular data. So this particular dashboard you're seeing is actually about personal expenses. So you can actually collect your own expenses data or your own personal data and actually try the same thing we're going to be doing right here on your data to see where your money goes and how you can actually control your, spending and, maximize your income. So this particular dashboard will teach you every single thing you need to know. It is highly dynamic and interactive, and I'm going to show you how you can actually have it done. So all you have to do is to actually go ahead and actually grab the data set we're going to be using and look at the questions and see how we can solve it and actually get something like this right on your screen. So if you're ready, let us get into the class. Before you go, please try to actually subscribe to this particular channel to support it and actually make it grow. It's very important. If you have not subscribed before, please do that right now. So leave a comment and let me know what you feel about my dashboards right on this channel. So let us get into the class. The first question here says, what areas can I cut down to save money? So I'm going to copy this particular part. I'm going to Ctrl X to cut it and bring it over here, paste it down. So here is our question, and it's going to be our title, right? So what do? We just have to go to the data set right here. It's already on a table format. All you have to do is just to go over to the top ribbon and click on your on your insert right here. Then from there, click over pivot table. Then we already have a sheet for it. So click on existing. I'm going to go for this sheet one here. And under this one, I'm going to paste it. Here we go. We have this. So what are we going to do to actually answer this question? So what areas can I cut down to save money? So if you go back to the data physically right now, those are the categories, which means what we spend money right on, or what the owner of the data spend money right on. So this is what we want to check. And aside that, we want to actually check expenses. So if you look at this right now, we have the amount column here, but over here we have both income and amount on the type. So we can actually filter this to get just for expenses, right? So which means we're going to be dealing with three different, columns, and adding one is going to make it four. I'm going to tell you why. Let's get down to business. So right here, right now, we just have to go ahead and bring in category into the rows. Then once we have done that, we want to bring in the amount into values. And I can actually bring any other column in here again. It could be amount, it could be anything text-based, or even the category itself. If I bring in amount for the second time, it's going to give me another sum. But in my own case, all I want to do is just to make sure I go to this particular value field settings here, then go over to count and have it counted, then rename this one to transaction. Transactions. So if I hit my enter key, my enter key now, I have it. This is the numbers of transaction for every single, categories here. But if you look at it right now, this is not well formatted. We just have to make sure we have this formatted so that whenever somebody comes to the back end, this will be very much better to look at. So what do I need to do? I have to go over to this particular part, click on design, and from here, choose report layout and choose tabular form. Now we can see category appears right in here. So because it has grand total, if I actually scroll all the way down right now, you can see we have the grand total here. I don't want it to actually appear here. I think I can right click over here and go ahead and remove the grand total. That is gone, right? So beautiful. So the next thing I want to do right now is to make sure this one that is named amount is actually named expenses. So now I have it. So for now, I'm going to move this one to this particular part for a reason. So once I come back here, let us move our type into the filters here. So we are about to answer the question, rightly. So go over and click on this particular part and click on expenses, then click on OK. So once you have done that, you can see expenses appeared right here, and it has filtered this particular part down to only expenses. So we just need to actually have this formatted. In my own case, I'm just going to do comma separator with no decimal places. So can you see it now? All right, this is a pivot table, but the kind of analysis we want to create, we don't want it to be on a pivot table. So here is our analysis here. So I'm going to create a different sheet right in here right now. So this sheet should actually be called formats. So formatting sheet. So right in here, I'm going to reference this particular part here, which is our analysis. So all I have to do right now, I'm just going to highlight everything, Control Shift down. Then if I hit my Enter key, this is what we call an array. So we have everything right in here. Maybe your question will be like, why did we have to do this? Why don't we do everything in the analysis sheet? So that was because I want to actually, format my table in a different way. So going back to formatting right now, this is not cool. I'm just going to actually go ahead and stretch it out. Better, right? So let me zoom closely for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, right now we need to add more columns to this. And this is what we cannot still do inside pivot table. So right here, I'm going to actually do rank. So I'm going to rank the expenses. How do we do that? Ranking is something very easy inside Microsoft Excel. All we have to do is to do equals rank. So rank is a function inside Microsoft Excel that we can actually use. So what are we trying to rank? We're trying to rank this among others. So how do we do that? If I place a comma right here right now, it's asking me for reference. So we have actually chosen the number we want to actually rank. But right now, we want to rank it among others. We do Control Shift down to highlight everything, or no. We just have to aim this particular one first. Let me take it up. So select here, Control Shift down. Then right away, you have to do F4 key to make sure you lock it down. So once you have done that right now, just close and hit your Enter key. So this is actually the 16th among all. So if I just go ahead and actually copy it down right now, this is what we actually have. So right now, it might not be making any sense to you. Let's then go back to analysis here. So what we're going to do right here, right now, is to go ahead and actually sort this particular column. So once I right click, I can actually sort from largest to smallest. And it's going to take effect on the other sheet, which is the formatting one here. Okay, can you see? Ranked number 1. Now we need to add ratings. So, like this. So it's going to be star ratings from 1 to 5. So how do we do that? We need to actually go ahead and search for stars. And we need 2 types of stars. The filled one and the unfilled one. So over here, I'm going to just type in filled star on filled star. So let us get them right here. See what we can do with them. So go to the internet. Go to Google and actually search for star symbol. And over here, you can see here we have symbolonly.com. So click on it. So once you have done that, you will have the 2 of it that we need right in here. So the first one is this particular one here, which is this very one. The second one is this one here. So how do we get them from here? So just go ahead and make sure you click on this and click on this one. They're going to appear right in here. So make sure you come over here and click on this one to have it here. And this one to have it here. We can now go ahead and copy. So it has been copied right now. Let's go over here and paste it right. Paste them here. Once I've pasted them, I'm going to go ahead and copy. This is my field. So we're going to be needing all of those. I mean, we're going to be needing this and this to actually create our rating. So let me show you how. So the very first thing we have to do is to actually use what looks like a variable that we have actually used in Power BI during my classes in Power BI. But this one is not called variable here, it's called let. The let functions helps you to actually create something that you actually store some things inside. So how do you do that? So I'm going to do Alt Enter. Then now I'm going to just type in here field. I love to use underscore because I can quickly reference it. Underscore field star. So put a comma on it and go ahead and reference this one. Then comma again, Alt Enter. So under underscore again on field star. So put a comma on it and reference this. So the two stars we brought in have actually been referenced. So what can we do next? The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we create under let or under bucket store something in. So over here I'm going to call this one underscore moving value. So with our underscore moving value right now, what do we want to store in here? So inside here now we want to store in this particular value here. So maybe your question will be, why do you name it moving value? That was because it's going to actually move from here to here to here down to the last row. There is no any cell locking right in here. So put a comma, Alt Enter again, underscore again, and over here I'm going to call it on max value. So for the max value now, we're going to actually be using the max function here to capture the max value from this range. Alt on Shift, then down arrow, then F4 key to make sure it's locked down. If you look at it right now, we have the $sign surrounding the column, which is the F and F right in here. So close it, and we have just gotten that. So under comma, the next thing we have to do right now is to actually make sure we create our stars. And what we're going to do right now is to actually create something that will help us to actually repeat either of those particular two stars right in here. So let us call this one Alt Enter. We're going to call it underscore star. Stars. So put a comma on it. So I'm going to be using this particular round up function here. With the round up function, open under bracket, under parentheses, and say we want to round this particular underscore moving value here. You divide it by underscore max value. So once you've done that, you close this. Then put a comma on it. It's asking for the digits. So for this right now, we don't need to even put comma on it. Sorry. Still on the number, we're going to multiply this by what? By 5 and comma. So number of digits is actually 0. Then we close. Right? So what happens, Alt Enter, if I decide to repeat or to return this particular star here. So if I return underscore stars, so Alt Enter, we'll close for let and hit my Enter key. So it gives me 5. If I copy this down here, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. Let's go down and see what we have. Now, those are what we have right in here. But right now, they're not making sense because it's just showing us numbers, right? Let us go ahead and keep on working. So over here, I don't want to return this right now. So instead of me to return this, I'll call this one underscore results. So come over here. So inside this result, what we want to do is to use the repeat function. This is where the magic happens. So repeat. So what are we repeating? We are going to repeat underscore field star, which is this particular one right here, right? Then once you have done this, we're going to put comma here, underscore stars. And it's going to pick up this number. If it has 3, it's going to fill it into 3, and the remaining one will be filled into the half. Easy, right? So once you have done this now, close this, and again, we're going to concatenate this, then open under parentheses here, and do repeat. Sorry, instead, just do repeat. Make sure you give it a space. So, ampersand, space, repeat, here. And with our repeat, this time around, we're going to be repeating underscore field, on field star, right? So, comma here, then for the number of time, we want to do 5 minus underscore the stars here. Then we can go ahead and close this. So Alt Enter. Before we Alt Enter, put a comma, Alt Enter. Now we return our result here. So if I hit my Enter key right now, let's see what the result will be. So now we have 5 stars. So if I copy this down over here, what's going on? Let's copy it down totally. So there is issue here. This is something we have not happened. I think it's something very simple that anybody can just see what is going on right now. So why are we having 4 stars here, and all the 4 stars happens to be just on field? So that was because if I double click anywhere here right now, watch out what is going on right in here. Can you see? So those references here are some kind of moving down. And that is not what we want. So what should we do instead? Let's go back to the top one here. Over here, we have to lock this down with our F4 key. So lock this particular one down with our F4 key. We have the locks down. So if I just go ahead and actually double click to copy down right now, this is giving me exactly what I want to see. Can you see them now? So the highest value, like the highest category we spend money on, is actually, food delivery. It's giving us 5 star, 4 star, all through. Down to here, we have 3 star. And if we keep going down, we start seeing changes, right? This is exactly how to create ratings inside Microsoft Excel. I believe this is something you actually want to try in your own personal project. This is exactly what we need to do. And the next thing right now is to look at how to take this to our main dashboard, how to make it look better. We're not done yet. We're going to highlight some part of it right in here that has some kind of a high concern. We understand that. So the next thing now is for we to actually create some highlights right in here. So we want to choose the top 5 and actually highlight them. So how do we make this with ease? So I'm going to come over here and type in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 finally. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular function called large. The large function is looking for the large value from here. So don't forget to do your F4 key to lock it down. So put a comma on it. For the K, you say return the first largest value. Then to get the second largest value, that to the 5th one now, we just have to copy down. And if I double click, it's looking at this to retrieve the 5th largest value for us. Okay, once we are done, the next thing I'm going to do right now is that I want to actually highlight where this particular number falls right in here. I'm going to highlight the values across here with a different color. That is the format we want to do. So to get that done right now, I'm going to just highlight, Control Shift down arrow like this. So once I've done this now, the next thing is I'm going to go to the top ribbon, go to Conditional Formatting, Manage Rows, and New Row. Okay, so once we are here, the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure click on this particular use. This is a formula to determine what you want. Over here, I'm going to say if this particular one here is equals to any value from this range, right? Then what do we want to actually, happen? So what we want to happen right now is that we want to actually condition it. But before then, we have what we call cell, referencing. So take off your dollar sign from here, the one from the front of F here as well, take it off. And we're going to be using this over and over again. Just copy this only one here, copy it. We don't have to reference it once again, just copy it. Once you have done that, go over here and click over here and click over this particular color and click on OK. Now, let me tell you, if you see the reason why I kind of remove the, dollar sign at the front of F and the one at the front of this particular F8 right in here was because I want to actually do my checking row by row. If I don't do that, it's not going to do the checking, it's just going to be static, and we're going to have wrong conditional formatting. So once we have done this now, we're going to click on OK, then add a new row, then we have to be up. Oh no, we can't get up. Cancel. Now let's click on OK here. So we are here. Now it has selected this particular one for us. This is just for a test. So let's go back again. And this time around, we want to go to manage. And here we go. We just have to select this one. And I will ask if this particular one here matches equals to what we have copied. Because this one has the formatting right on it, which means we have removed the dollar sign from the front of F. So let's go over here now and be consistent with our color. This one. Click on OK. Click on OK right in here. So add a new one for the third one. Click over here. And inside this box, this one equals to what we have copied. Then let's go. If that is true, we want this particular color right in here. Then let's click on OK. And the fourth one now is going to be this very one here. If it is equals to this one, then let's go ahead and do the same actual color we are using. Click on OK, OK right in here. And finally, we pick the fifth one. I believe you can see how easy it is. So this one equals this. Then let's go ahead and actually go to this automatic and change it to this color. Click on OK, OK, and OK. So now we'll have this particular, 5 highlighted. Right? That was because this particular 5 here corresponded to what we have right in here. As for others, no. So which means if we were to actually recommend to the end users or the owner of the data right now, we're going to say cut down a lot of expenses from food delivery, gym membership, entertainment, water bill, and the internet. I don't know. Don't waste too much water and don't use too much internet for unnecessary things and stuff like that. Okay, we have done this. This is actually a spotlight that we actually pointed at this very table right in here. So good, right? So now this is what you need to do. The next thing we have to do right now is just to make sure we some kind of, adjust this to fit into what we want. All right. So I want my rating to be centralized. So I'm going to highlight this particular portion here, then go over to the top here. This is exactly what I want for my rating. And for this particular one, it's okay with where it is right now. As for this one here, we're going to just do Ctrl+1 and find the currency I want to use. Let's go to currency. Let's go over here. I'm going to use my country currency for this very one here. So let's do this. And no extra decimal number. Let's click on OK. We have something that looks as bold as this. Okay. So as for this particular part here, I'm going to just make sure this one, bring it down a little bit. And for this part here, I want to change the color. Let's choose something light. Okay, this is good. So here we go. Now we can just go ahead and take a screenshot of this particular part here. So now copy. So once you have copied now, we want to create a different, environment for this. So let's go over here and right click. So we want to find paste as picture, not paste link. So we can't find it in this particular group. All we can do right now is to go over to the top ribbon, click on paste, and now we have paste as link picture. So we have something like this right in here. But if you look at it, it's not looking beautiful. No matter how we try to turn this particular view and go ahead and say no header and as well no grid lines, this one is still going to come with grid lines. So what do? We have to go all the way back to this formatting here and take off the grid lines we have right in here. So with that, when we get back to this very sheet right now, it's gone. So we only have this right in here. Okay, this is a part of a big dashboard we have created in the past, which is going to be this very one right here. And what we are actually creating right now is independent on its own. It does not concern this one. If you don't want to create this particular one, it's fine, no problem. But we're going to be using the same background we have actually used right in here. So what do I need to do? Okay, I think the most beautiful thing I can do right now is to right click and go to move or copy. Then click on what you want to copy, the dashboard here. And here we go. We're going to have a duplicate of this particular dashboard. Oh no, sorry, I flopped. Do this and click on the dashboard itself. Click on copy or create. Now we have a copy. So what I'm going to do right away is just for me to say, okay, you know what? I want to take off everything from here. Let's do something, because not everything, just some part of it. So go to find and select and go to this particular select objects. So once you have gotten this now, let's kind of highlight this environment here. Whatever is being selected will be removed. Now you can now individually remove this particular part. So here we go, it's gone. Okay, so once we have done this now, we can actually bring in our dashboard in here. So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead and take off this, escape it, take off this particular chart from here. So once the chart is gone, we just want to adjust this very one to the top here. Right. So maybe your question now is going to be, how did we create this? Let me show you. I'm going to show you from the scratch. I'm going to take off everything from here. So this is just a plain, cover. There is nothing here. The only thing that is a difference here right now is going to be this particular one. And if I control one and show you what I've done here, you can do the same exact thing. If you don't want to go to the first part of the video to watch, then this one is okay. So over here now, I'm going to show you the color. The code is this particular one here, 9523411602. So you're just going to pile it up to 6 and make sure you check out my colors, right, to see what I've used right in here. Have it paused. You're going to see the colors I'm actually using to actually get this particular kind of design right in here. Can you see it now? I'm going to go over to this one as well. Just pause the video to type the same exact color code I have right in here. Then go over to this particular one as well. Make sure you type the exact color code I have right in here. And finally, this particular one here. So make sure you type the exact color code I have right in here. So can you see it right now? This is something very beautiful, right? So once you've done this now, the next thing you have to do is just to make sure the angle is actually 90 degrees and you want to select something from here. And this has to do with how you want it to go. The darker version, should it be down? If you want that to be down, you select something like this particular one. If you want it to be at the side, either of this particular angle would actually do that for you. And for this particular part right in here, if I go over here right now, you can see I chose the darker version of what I've used right in here, which is this particular one for my main background. Can you see how easy it is right now? So coming over to this particular part, I can actually pick up this particular, one I have right in here, including the card and this particular card as well. So copy this and let's go over to our duplicate version. Then I can paste it over here and move it right in here. Okay. So once we have this right now, for this one, we're going to move it away to this version here. So this one here, we just have to make sure we do this. We do this. So let us check what the color of this one is. So the color of this one, if I click over here, is this particular color. It's not a mixed color, it's just a default color we have right in here with 15% darker. See that now? So as for this particular card here, we're using normal white color. And we actually chose to use a rounded rectangle for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and resize this up to this level here. Then this one's going to be my title. And this title should actually be coming from the question. This is a question. Here we go to view, turn on this one. Let's go straight up to this analysis here, once we are here, we just have to pick up this variable here. You see that now? Okay, this is what it is. So I'm just going to do duplicate of it using Ctrl D. And inside here, what I'm going to do right now is for me to type in cut down on the categories on red. Okay, so once I've done this now, I just have to go over here and reduce it a little bit, if need be with italic, to make it red like this. Okay, so if I now go back to this particular sheet right now, I can actually pick up this one, or I can actually create another one on that version from here. It's all my choice. Just select the category, Ctrl Shift down arrow, so we copy. So we come over to this particular part. So we want to make sure we select a cell, an empty cell. We go to the top here, paste, and there we go. So we have this. Now we can now arrange this right in here. So if you look at it right now, it's cutting off from here. If I don't want to actually resize this over here, I might want to be forced to go back and readjust things right away. But in my own case, I'm going to just go ahead and readjust this particular one to make sure it fits what we have right in here. Okay, so over here, I'm going to have 3 of these sitting here. So it should contain 3 of it. Okay, nicely done. So what I'm going to do right now is to hold my control key, select this one, go to the top ribbon, click on shape format, go to align this to the top, and go ahead and distribute horizontally. So now you have something like this. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually create some couple of KPIs. It is something we have done before, even though if you have not watched that particular video, I'm going to show you how I did it. Then you can copy me and do the same exact thing. Okay, I'm going to come over to this particular dashboard right in here. So what I'm going to do right now is to go over to the top ribbon, then go to find and select and click on this particular select objects here. So once I've done that, I'm going to aim this particular part and have it copied. Can you see it right here? Okay, I think I want to include this particular part as well. So this is going to be an advantage to people who had already created this with me in the first, video, right? So I've copied this. I'm going to Ctrl C to copy. So let's go over to the duplicate version and have it pasted right in here. Then the next thing now is for me to move it and have it sitting rightly here. Okay, nicely done. So we don't want to have this here. Sorry for that. I brought something that is already here in here. So take it off, then look at it. So let me show you how I got this created in case you don't want to watch the first video. This one is actually, on its own. Let's quickly go over to this particular KPI part right in here. So what we have done in this particular KPI part is for we to actually create a pivot table. And inside the pivot table, we actually drag in type into filters. And over here in the values, we have amount right in here and we filtered by income. So we did the same thing for the expenses. We dragged the type, then amount, we filtered by expenses, right? Now, if you look at it right now, we have the actual values right in here in full. And we are trying to actually some kind of summarize the values, like create a shorter format of it. And if I double click on it right now, those are the formula we have actually used to actually have this done. It's very easy. All you have to do is just for you to actually say, okay, if this particular number right in here, which is this particular number, so if it is actually greater than or equal to 1 billion, you want to use the text function to actually divide that particular number, which is this particular one, D6 right here, by 1 billion, and you format it and use any currency, formatting of your choice. In my own case, I'm using Naira because I'm from Nigeria. So I'm using Naira. So I concatenated the billion to it. So do the same thing for million, do the same thing for thousand, and for when it is just maybe 10, 20, 30, or 40, whatever it is. So it's something very easy to get it done. So we actually calculated our average right in here. If I go back right now, you can see over here we have average monthly income and average monthly expenses. So what we have done right in there on the average part is very simple. Let me show you. To do the average right now, we have to play it safe because we might end up having a slicer that will not give us complete 12 months. So we don't have to hand code this particular part right in here. So what we have done is to divide our, our expenses by the count of how many months we have kept its record. And that will give us 12, right? Then if you hand code 12 right in here, it's going to give you the correct value with what this particular count A will do. But unfortunately, whenever this particular date or month here is not up to 12, then there will be issue with your average monthly income or monthly expenses. That was how we got that actually created. So the next part right now, if I go back over here, is the balance right in here. It's something very straightforward that you can actually do all by yourself. So all we have to do is to take our income from our expenses, and that gives us the balance. So very simple and easy. Okay, now that you have known what we have done right on the KPI part, can we actually proceed into the next part of the dashboard? Yes, I think we should. We are back to analysis again. So the next question right now is actually this particular one right here, where it says, what payment method do I use most? So we need to actually create for this. I'm just going to keep it right in here. And what we have to do is to create what? Is to create the pivot table to have this done. So how do we do that? Let's see what we can do about it. So now I have my data right in here. You can copy the previous pivot table, or you can actually create a new one by clicking on insert right in here. Then inside the pivot table, existing, then we go over to analysis right here. Beneath this one here, I'm going to paste, and here we go. All right, so we have a pivot table here. To answer this particular question right now, if you look at it, it is actually saying, what payment method do I use most? So let's see what we can do about it. If you were to get this done right now, what will you do? So I think it's something very simple. Let me show you. So over here, we have payment method. I'm going to drag it right into the rows level. And here we go. I don't always love to have this one here. I want to have the actual name of the column. Then the grand total should be gone. So we have to be right here onto the design part here, and go over to show in tabular form. Then the grand total should be turned off. And here we go. We have something like this. So what do you think right now? The next thing we have to do is to create a count of how many times we have used bank transfer, cash, credit card, debit card, and mobile money. So to do that right now, any column of our choice here will be okay. All we have to do is to make sure it is actually on count. And here we go, right? So we can double click on this particular part and type in here transactions. So whatever you want to use. So this is exactly what we actually want to have. So right now we can decide to actually format this into what? Into some kind of normal values, like what I have right in the KPI part right in here, which is this particular one here. So if I just go ahead and copy this, I can just go Ctrl-C to copy. I'm going to come back to this particular part here, and I will have it pasted right in here like this. So right now it's showing me 0 because it cannot actually, look at the column where we actually brought it from. So it's some kind of very easy. What if I show you how to develop this all by yourself? It's something very simple, right? So I'm going to show you quickly because it's easy. So all we have to do is to use nested if to do this. I'm going to say if this particular value right in here, if it is actually, greater than or equals 1 billion. So we're just trying to assume that what if we have it up to 1 billion? But right now we don't have to go into 1 billion. It's just going to be on transaction. And based on the kind of data we have right now, we can only limit it to million, not billion, right? So if this is actually greater than or equal to million, that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 zeros. Then what do you want us to do? We use the text function here. So with the text function, we take this particular number and divide it by what? By the same million. So once we have done that right now, the next thing we have to do is to place a comma right on it. And it's asking us for how do we want to format it. We use this particular formatting 0.0, then we close. And the next thing we have to do right now is to actually have the text function closed, right? So once we have closed it right now, the next thing we have to do is to concatenate here. So M to it. You get it right now? So we have done for what? 4 million. Then the next thing, Alt Enter to go into a new line, is to use that if again and actually say if this particular number right in here. So if this actually greater than or equal to 1,000 like this, then if that is true, we use the text function again. With the text function, we're going to actually take this one, divide it by the same 1,000. Then put a comma on it, and over here 0.0. Then once we have done this, we close, and over here we just have to do K for 1,000 like this. So place a comma, and for the last one, it's just gonna be if it's some kind of maybe 10, 20, and stuff like that. So what we need to do straight up is just for me to use just text function. That is for otherwise. So text function here. So we just go ahead and say, okay, you know what? I want to format you into just 0. And once you've done that, you close for this and you close for the 2 ifs you have actually opened. If I hit my enter key right now, this is what I have right here, which is 1.6K. So guess what? If I scroll down, it's giving me this. So if you look at it right now, it seems not making a lot of sense, right? Because it's the same thing with this particular one. So what can we do to differentiate them? We can decide to put 1 more zeros. It's optional if you want to do this, but I just want to show you how it will look. So if I hit my enter key right now, let's do this down. So now we have different values right now. This makes a lot of sense, but depends on the kind of space that you have. That will be what will make you actually have this done, okay? So we have gotten this done right now. The next thing we have to do is to go ahead and actually create a pivot chart with this. So going over to insert, we know the kind of chart we want to use is this particular chart right in here. So we have it. Quickly, we just have to take off this particular part we don't need. Right click and have this hidden. Okay, the title should be gone and the grid line should be gone as well. Then we don't want to keep this very one here. Okay, this is nice, but one thing I don't like about this right now is that this is not actually sorted the way I really want it to look, right? So what do? I need to actually sort this. So how do we do the sorting? This is a pivot table. We don't have to use any formula to get it done. So let's go over here, right click and go to sort and do sort largest to smallest. ASAP. Here it has been done. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this one away from here and go to my dashboard too, then paste it down right in here, and here we go. So because of space, I might want to actually change my mind to use a different chart, because if I decide to actually make this a bit smaller right now, this particular x-axis is not looking pretty nice again. So what do I need to do? So I can actually right click over this part here and go to change chart type. So with this right now, we can go over to bar and we choose this. So right now is from the lowest to the highest value. What do? We just control 1 and make sure you click on the y-axis here. From the y-axis, you go over to axis option, then you choose category in reverse order. So beautiful, we have what we really need to have here. So the next thing is for me to click on the bars and just go ahead and actually have a close range of the gaps. So something like this looks beautiful, right? Okay, once I've done this right now, we just have to go over here, the fill, we have to choose color. So I'm going to go with this particular color right in here. To know what the color code is, just go over to more colors right in here. Over here, we have 52, 80, C6 for blue. So you can decide to use the hex code if that is what you want. Okay, so once we have done this right now, the next thing we have to do is to turn on the data label. So here we go, we have it. So I just want to use that particular one I just created. So we just have to go over to this particular part and click over here. Let's go straight up to our analysis and we'll copy from here, right? Then we'll click on OK. So once we have done that, make sure it's actually checked, then go ahead and turn this one off. And here we go. We have something that looks like this. So I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. So now if I check my questions right here, so you can see I have more 2 questions to go, which is this particular 2 right in here. So what I'm going to do right now is to quickly create, just remove this one and keep it somewhere around here. So duplicate this particular card here and bring it down. So once you have it right in here, let's go ahead and resize it up to this level here. Okay, then we duplicate this one. Make sure you actually have the formula bar hidden. So now we can have room to adjust this. Then hold the Control key, then select this one. Make sure the card is what you aimed at. So we just have to go to shape format here, go to align and you align bottom. So beautiful. So now we can resize this particular one and have a space between them, just like this. Okay, so bring it up a little bit. Then click on this one and take it up. Okay, this is okay. So I want to make sure I click on this one and move it this way. Once I've done that, I'm going to hold my Control key to select this one, then go this way and go to align to the left. So this is how you can do proper alignment for your project and all of that. So if I want the same space that is here to be here right now, I'm going to hold my Control key, select both of them, the 3, then go over here. Now we distribute vertically. Oh no, it's not going to work. I don't know. Why is that happening? Yeah. Okay, sometimes it just messed up. It's not going to work. So all you just have to do is to use your eye to gauge it and make sure you have the same spacing for the space here and the space right in here. Okay, once you have done this right now, I'm going to just duplicate this one and bring it over here. So make sure you just keep it down here. Click on this one, go over to the top, go to align top. So once you have done that, deselect it and click on this one, hold your Control key, select this one, then you have to align this one to the right hand corner. So beautiful. So right now we can adjust this to make sure we cover up for this space and have the right space here to be equal to this one here. Then we just go ahead and fill it down this way. So make sure you don't go beyond what you have right in here. So equal alignment is very important. So we have all we really want. Now we can go with this one. So this one is going to go behind this. So all we have to do is to right click and go to bring to front. So now we can just move this one and keep it somewhere around here. So with my Control 1 right now, I'm going to take off the fill color, go to the border, and I'm going to take off the border. So now we can resize this to make sure it looks very okay here. The next thing we have to do right now is to copy this particular title over here and keep it somewhere around here. Once we have done that, go ahead and turn on the formula bar. And here we go. We can just go ahead and pick up the title for it. So let us scroll. So which is this particular one here? Hit the enter key. So now we have this. So I'm going to select both of them and go to the top here. And let's go and use a calm color like this very one here. All right, so we have something that looks just like this. Okay, so we need to actually, have some kind of, should I call it caption or insight right in here. So what will that insight look like? It's something very simple. Let's get back to analysis part here. So what we want to do right now, based on what we have actually sorted right away, is giving us bank, transfer to be the highest, most used payment method. And this will change based on the kind of slides that we have. So we have to make the caption or the insight we want to actually write to be dynamic. For example, let me quickly write, something here that we can actually follow. So right now, what we have here is bank transfer. I'm going to just say bank transfer is your payment, is your most, okay, let us use most used payment method. Okay. So now we just want to see what is the percentage of the grand total that it's made up of. So making up, let's say 20% of all transactions. So can you see this right now? So how can we make this dynamic? It's something very simple. I'm going to show you. So we have done something similar to this before now. So using something that looks like the variable we use in Power BI, which is the let function. So let's see what we can actually do. All right, to make it very easy for you to get it done right now, we're going to use this particular function called let. So the let function will actually help us to store things like the way we do in variable. In Power BI, use a variable. So Alt Enter to go into a new line. So right now, what we want to do is to actually, count the total transaction. To make it easy now, I'm going to say transactions, right? So put a comma on it and use the sum function over here to sum this particular part here. So we have just created this. So put a comma, Alt Enter to go into a new line. The next thing right now is to actually do the max. We're going to actually extract the max from here. So how do we do that? So to extract the max right now, so I'm going to do max transaction. So put a comma here, use max, and retrieve the max value from here. Then we have saved that as well. Alt Enter again into a new line. Now I want to return the max for you to see what I'm talking about. So over here, I'm going to do max transaction here. So Alt Enter, we close for let. If I hit my enter key right now, it returns this. So we want to make sure this particular, formula here returns this particular one. So what do? We go straight up to the next line. And over here, I'm going to say top method. So top method simply means top payment method. So with our index function, we can actually make it very easy. So what do? Our index function is looking for what we want to return. We want to return something from here. So put a comma right in it, right? So what do we want to use to return what we want to return? Okay, so pardon me, I don't have to have this over here. Remove it, please. So now, over here now, we want to return something, whatever corresponds to this, because it's going to be dynamic. It's going to change over time. It might be this number when we actually use a filter right in it. So whatever corresponds to what is here is what we want to return. So we don't have to hand code it right in. So we just have to reference this particular portion here, specifically this very, max transaction over here. So now how do we do that? We use this particular function called match function. With the match function right now, it's looking up for lookup value. We paste in this particular max transaction here. And now it's asking for the lookup array. Where can we find this particular max transaction? Where can we find this particular max transaction? It's going to be right in here, right? Once you've done that, so we just do 0 for the exact match. We close for our index, close for our match function. And right now, Alt, comma here, Alt Enter. So let us return our top method here and see what we have. So what we have right now is bank transfer. So it's actually coming to you, right? Okay, so what do we do next? Now that we have actually gotten this done, we need to actually create a percentage. So let me show you how to do that. So over here, I don't need to put this here again. So I'm going to just call this one PCT top. So for the PCT top here, what we want to do right now is to take the max and max transaction here. So we divide it by the transaction. Can you see it now? So if I go ahead and return this, so return PCT here. If I hit my enter key right now, it's giving me this 0.2. Can you see? So if I decide to go ahead and do percentage, that is 21%. But we're not actually going to use this method to get it done. So if I double click right now, it is time for me to combine the values and the percentage we have just created together. So let us go straight up to this particular part and take this off. So right now I'm going to go into a new line and just say, I want to combine everything together here. So I would say underscore result. So which means this is what we want to show. So for our result here, so what we want to show now is combining the top method. So is an ampersand here. So inside here, I'm going to say is. So try to look this particular part. So which means our bank transfer is your most used payment method. You get it right now, comma, making up. So making up right now, we stop it right there, we'll give it space, we just concatenate something else to it. So I want to go into a new line. So we're going to use text function here. The text function now is going to actually format our percentage for us. So how do we do that? So PCT, you see how easy this could look, right? Okay, how we format it is going to be inside of equal 0.0%, like this. Then we close this. So we do an ampersand here, space of all transactions. All right, here we go. Guess what? If I hit my enter key, what the heck is going on? Let's see. Maybe we have omitted something. If I do this, you have entered too few arguments. So now we just have to display our result. Alt enter. So underscore result is not coming up. We must have omitted something. Let's cross check. So is here most payment, then comma here, then ampersand, then text function. So if I hit my enter, I have something that looks like this. So what do? I just have to return it here like this. So if I hit my enter key, it's not working. Okay, now everything is 100% correct. What we can do right now, let us not use result. We just have to do it directly. Something like this. If I hit my enter key right now, it should work. Now it worked. So it's giving us bank transfer, is. So now it's together. Let's go ahead and do space over here. I would love to keep a space over here as well to make it look clean. So if I hit my enter key right now, bank transfer is your most used payment method, making up to 20.5% of all transactions. Exactly what we have right in here. Can you see it now? All right, we have this. We can go back to our dashboard environment and we can just go ahead to our previous dashboard and copy this from here, bring it over in here, keep it somewhere around here. What? Yes. So now let's go straight up to this particular part here and go ahead and grab it. So grab this one here, paste it down. Okay. So now we have to give the same formatting. So go over here and place the same formatting right on it. So this will be very easy if you already have followed the first video. I don't want to just go through everything, I know anybody can just create this. So I want to make sure I reduce this just by 1 point. All right. I don't know. Maybe this is cool. This is exactly what it is right here. So we have this. Can you see how easy it is right now? So follow this particular same way to have yours created. If you have any issue, please don't hesitate to actually reach out to me. If you're in the comment section, I'm going to actually help you out on whatever problems you actually have. So check out my course on Power BI and Microsoft Excel to see how you can actually take advantage of what I've taught you in the course to actually make sure you create big, project for your companies. Let's do it. Let us duplicate this particular tool right in here and have this right here. Duplicate again. So duplicate once more and keep this over here. So right now, we need to actually concern ourselves much about this one. So what we can do right away is just for we to go over to analysis. And the next question here is this. So this particular one here, I can take it up to where I want to have it right in. So let us have it right here. Okay. So now what we can do is to go straight up to this particular part and click on this. Highlight this environment here. So make sure you go over to analysis and pick up the question. Once you've done that, we just have to make sure we format it by using the previous format. Just apply it right here ASAP. Here we go. Okay. So what is the question? When we get back here now, it says which vendor take most of our money, or of my money, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be very easy for you to use our previous, pivot table. We want to copy every single thing from here down to here. So copy, and over here, you just have to paste it down. Once you have done that, we just want to make one single change to this. So all we have to do right away, I think 2 changes. So go to your show field list and take off payment method, take off transaction. Then, so we want to bring in here type. So to bring type right now, I'm just going to make sure I move this up. If not, it's going to affect it. So click back on this particular pivot table. So take type into filter, then bring in amount here. So let us bring in vendor. So vendor into here. So now, does this answer the question? Not yet. So the amount we actually brought in here shouldn't be count. So make sure you click on value field settings here and choose to use the sum function here. So now, what the heck is going on? So it's giving us 0 or true. Yes. Oh, I brought a count. How was right actually defaulted to that? So we want to look for amount here. So there we go. Amount is actually sum originally. Okay. So once we bring in amount, oh no. So I'm going to Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, and Ctrl Z to bring it back to normal so that I can still have this particular one here. Do that as well. So once we have that done, the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we preserve the formatting we have right here. Then bring your vendor beneath this one. Click on OK. Oh, it still affects it. Ctrl Z. I'm trying to find a way to make sure this one is not affected. What I'm going to do right now is just to move it down to here, right? So once I've done that right now, I can go ahead and take off this particular one here now, then go ahead and bring in my vendor. So still on still, okay, now, yes, it works. I'm going to shift it back later after all. So now we can take off this particular transaction and bring in amount into it like this. Then go to type and bring in type here. So type in here now will be expenses. So we have just, used expenses. So what I'm going to do right now is that we have a lot of them. I'm just going to keep it to the top 5. So right click over here and go to filter, go to top 10. So instead of we to see 10, we just want to put 5 right in here. Then I make sure this one is actually amount. So if I click now, this is what we have. So we can now bring this one closer. Can you see it? So if I double click now, it's looking at this one right in here. Beautiful, right? Okay, if you don't want these particular 2 decimal numbers, you can just make sure you just keep it at 1. So we have gotten what we wanted. So before we go on, we just want to make sure we still highlight, an insight right in here, which is something very simple. And I believe you can do that right for yourself. So what I want you to do right now is to do something similar to what I have done right in here. So do you think showing you is something very important? If you think you can do it, let me quickly show you how to get it done. It's something very easy. So first of all, you want to put your equals, then let over here, the let function. So the let function now, we have to store in vendor. So I want to use underscore vendor. So to start in vendor right now, you can highlight this particular part here. This is your vendor. So place a comma. Now the next thing now is going to be spend. So the spend is the amount. So underscore spend. So we store in the column right here. Don't store in this one because this one is the text. It's not a number any longer. It's a text. You can see it's floating to the left-hand corner while this one floated to the right-hand corner. Alt enter again into a new line. So we just want to do total amount. Total amount. Use the sum function to sum up this same place again. So we close. So now we can do the max underscore top spend. So max will be looking forward to spend. So what have we just done? We have automatically highlighted this particular column because that is what we stored inside our spend here. So once we have done that right now, we have to look for top what? Top vendor. So for the top vendor right now, we use index just like what we have done before. So the index right now is going to actually index underscore vendor. So we use the match function. The match function is going to look for the max, the top spend. Top spend uses max. Then where do we find that? Right in, we go to spend. You can see how easy it is right now. We don't have to start coming here to select any column again. So once you have done that, put a comma on it, 0, price for the exact match, we close twice. Then place a comma. Now, we find the percentage. We have done something like this before. I can make it faster. Underscore PCT for what? For top. So place a comma on it. So what do? We take underscore top spend. Here we divide it by underscore total amount. That gives us our percentage. Can you see how easy it is right now? So the next thing now is for we to actually start to write the insight we want from it. So we're going to say underscore top vendor. So ampersand here. Then takes the largest share of your spending at, then and ampersand here. So use text function for your PCT. So it's going to be 0.0%. Then we close this. So if you hit the enter key right now, this is what you're going to have. So quickly we can just create our pivot table, or pivot chart rather, from here. Can you see now? So you have everything here hidden. So take off the title because we already have a title for it. So this axis here, this x-axis, we don't need it. So we don't need any of this as well. So we can just Ctrl X to cut it. So we go to here. So we paste. We resize this. So we want to make sure this is some kind of Ctrl 1. No fill, no border. Click on this one. Go over here. So close the gap or the width. Then change the color to match the dashboard color. So let's quickly click over here. Go over here. Then now we go over to this particular part, data label. So we click over here, we go to this. So we get back in here and we select this environment here. We click on OK. You want to make sure it's selected and you turn off this one. And you have something that looks like this. Better, right? So click on this particular part, aim it, and drag it in. So that makes it to actually go off from the bars and be some kind of standalone, and you can see it better. So now we click on this particular one here. We just highlight this environment and we go over to analysis and we pick up this. Once I hit my enter key, we have something like this. We go ahead and actually have it formatted. So let's go and format it to look a little bit calm. So this is exactly what we need to create, and we have just done justification to it in a snappy way. So we spend a lot of time here down here because the knowledge we have actually gained right here is what we have used right in here. It's not something very hard. So what about this? The last question is this particular one right here, which says, which category do I spend the most money on? It's easy. So what we can do right now is for you to copy this very one from here. So Ctrl-C to copy. We go all the way here and we paste it in here. So I'm going to paste it in here. So once I've done that right now, I want to add more columns to this. Highlight, Ctrl-Shift, the plus sign, we add more columns so we can have more space here. What I'm going to do right now, for me not to lose this, I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So now, what do? We just have to make sure we bring back our this list. Then over here, we just want to bring in category into here. Then take off this particular one right now. Right? So we just want to make sure it's on expenses. So we just have to take this up. If need be, move it to this way. So click on this one and let's go over to type here. So we want to make sure it's the expenses. So once we have done that right now, let's just select top 10. So we filter by top 10. Beautiful. So right now we don't want it to be in transaction. We can take off transaction and bring in amount. So that means we have to do our top 10 again. So filter, top 10, we click on OK. So now we just go ahead and bring this one forward. Over here, we can just go ahead and fill it down. Nicely done. It's working 100%. So now quickly, we have to create our chart with this particular pivot table here. So we just go into insert and we bring in this same chart. So right now we just have to follow the same thing we have done before, take off everything we don't need, and we'll remove all the axes that are not important to us. Right? Okay. Once we have done this right now, Ctrl X. So we can paste this over here. Move this up. And right here now we have to resize this particular one over here. So if you look at it right now, it's not looking cool at all. So what we can do right now is just to make sure we double click on it and take off the fill and the outline. Then we want to make sure we click on this one, go over here, go to axis option, and here we go. So it is not yet sorted the way it should be. Let's quickly go over to analysis. And now we can just right click over here and sort largest to smallest. Let us check it out and see what we have. Now I think we have something cool. So we just have to make sure the gap is being closed and the color should be changed to match what we have on our dashboard canvas. Okay, once we have done that, we just have to click over here and go to data label. So click over here now, go to this particular part and click on this. Then now we go straight up to here and we highlight the portion here down to here. That is dynamic. So we want to make sure this one is checked and uncheck this one. This look more better. So if you look at it right now, some number is actually entering into this particular dark version of it right here. So all we have to do is to just click until you have this highlight here, move this one in. That paves way for you to see all the values accordingly the way they should be. Okay, so now the title here is not really given, so we just have to make sure we change it. So let us go straight up to this particular analysis and pick up this very one here. Once we have done that, we just have to click on this, go over here, home, this, and we apply it. Okay, that is done. So what about this one here? It's not making any damn sense right now. We have to write something that will actually pull out what we want for us. So I believe by now you should be able to actually do it all by yourself. So if I should give you a clue on what to do, I think it's going to be nice. But to those of you that still want me to do it 100% for you, let's go ahead and do that. So go to analysis right here and let us start getting it done right in here. So we're going to do let as well. So now with the let function, we just have to store in some couple of things right in here. So I'm going to store the card, which is card for category. So cards, here is the place. So the next thing we have to do right now is to store in the amount spend, just call it spend. Then we store the column. So once we have done that now, the next thing we have to do is to do the total. So underscore total spend. So the sum function will do that for us. We have done this before. In case I'm too fast, don't think about it because we have already done this before. So once we have done this right now, let's go one more to separate it. The next thing we have to do right now is to do the top. So I'm going to do underscore top amount. Top amount. So over here to get the top amount right now, we use the max function, just like what we have done before. The max function is going to actually go into spend, underscore spend here. That is, instead of us to come back and highlight this particular part, we just better use it. So Alt, enter again into a new line. This one now will be top cart. So for the top cart, we use index again. So the index right now is looking for the category underscore cards. So now the match function now is actually looking for, what to actually search for to match the max category. And that is going to be our underscore spend, top spend here, top spend. So where can we find the top spend column? That will be underscore spend. You see that now? Very easy. So place a comma, 0 for the exact match, close twice the index, and the match has been closed. So if I place a comma right on it right now, Alt enter again into a new line. But last time we're going to calculate something else. That is going to be our top, our PCT. PCT top. So for the PCT top right now, it's going to be we dividing our top spend by underscore our total amount in here, right? So the next thing now is to go straight up to the insight we want to actually have right in here. So I'm going to actually bring in the top category. So top category here. So an ampersand here, and I will say is your biggest spending category. Yeah, category. So taking up. So don't forget this text function percentage. So we format it 0.0%. We close this. So right now we put an ampersand here. So of your total expenses. Alt enter. We close. If I hit my enter key, oh no, it's giving me an NA. Let's see what's wrong with this. Did we miss anything here? Okay, I think the problem might be from here. So instead of total spend, it should be total amount. That is top amount, rather, top amount. So let's see. So now it's working 100%. So what's up with this? Oh, the percentage is a bit wrong. Let's see what we can fix in the percentage. This one should be top spend. If I hit my enter key right now, not yet fixed. Top amount, so 100%. So top amount by total amount or total spend. Yep. Now we have it rightly done. Let's go over here, and now we can go ahead and click back to here and pick it up, hit my enter key. Let's go ahead and select this, and here we go. We have this. So let us go ahead and actually go through here and turn off this. Now we can take a look at what we have done, the good work we have done right here. So beautiful. So it's dynamic. It's going to change, based on the slicer that is being applied. But right now, this particular slicer is not connected to everything. We're going to connect it right now and add a new slicer to it as well. Now, let us add a new slicer to it. So go to analysis here. So click on this and right click, go to show field list. Let us add account as a slicer. Right click over it and add it. So to make it easy for you to connect our slicer right now, we're going to name every single pivot table we have right in here. So let's go through this part here. So I'm going to just call this one AN1. So we just go straight up to this one. AN2. So it depends on what you want to name it. I just want to make sure I identify these pivot tables I have right in here. So this one should be AN3. So now we can cut this one away from here. So if I paste it right in here right now, it's going to be right here. So it's not looking good at all for now. Let's quickly go over to here, go to slicer. Let us use to, let's see how this will look good on it. So I'm going to keep it right here. I don't want to go into designing of the slicer, but I think this is going to work fine. So we have to connect it. Right click now and go to report connection here. So once we are here, you just have to do this. Connect it to this one here, this one here. Okay, we can't identify the KPIs, but it's going to be very easy if you want to identify the KPIs. So now you can see it's working on everything here. Everything is working fine. So now you can just click on this one, right click and go to report connection as well. So we just connect to this, and this here. Then if I click on OK, so everything gets some kind of updated automatically just because I've connected it. And this is for the days. So if you want to connect this one to the KPIs you have right in here, so all you have to do is to go to KPI and have them named so that you can actually identify which of the pivot tables are KPI. Then that is going to be okay. So this is exactly what you need to do to have this particular dashboard created. And mind you, if you have not created this particular one right in here, you just have to try it all by yourself and see what you can do to have something right in here created. So how about this? Very interesting, right? I'm going to be seeing you in my next videos, and don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and let me know what you think in the comment section. So don't forget to actually check out my course and see how my course can actually make you to understand Microsoft Excel and as well Power BI. See you in my next videos.